In this documentary, I will talk about the debatable takeover of digital from celluloid. Throughout the course, I will use lots of interview techniques which will structure each argument in an unbiased fashion. The history of celluloid dates all the way back to the late 1890s. The Lumiere brothers created the first films and were credited with the first public film screening in 1895. Until 1927, motion pictures for films were produced without sound. This era is referred to as the silent era of film. These films also consisted of just one shot and no filming techniques were used. The year 1900 was the birth of the first motion pictures that can be considered as films. At this point, filmmakers began to add basic editing techniques and film narrative. George Lucas challenged the supremacy of digital film with the making of Phantom Menace in 1999. The next clip will be Slumdog Millionaire. This film won an award for the best cinematography for mainly digital film.
Two of the musketeers are called Athos and Porthos. What was the name of the third musketeer?
I'd like to phone a friend.
But I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you. I make you laugh. I'm here to fucking amuse you. What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
I don't think you ought to be doing this to yourself, Andy. This is just shitty pipe dreams. I mean, Mexico is way the hell down there, and you're in here, and that's the way it is.
Yeah, right. That's the way it is. It's down there, and I'm in here. I guess it comes down to a simple choice, really. Get busy living, or get busy dying.
So which is better? George Lucas switched from celluloid to digital, and he believes that digital will dominate the future of filmmaking. What are your opinions on digital, George?
Digital is, I felt at that point, the quality was close enough to film that I wasn't going to end up with any less of an image. But the process itself is so much more malleable, so much easier to use, so much less restrictive, that it would give me a huge advantage in terms of the actual day-to-day process of making the movie. And it would save me a lot of money. So that's always a factor. We're always trying to do it as the least expensive way possible. And digital really made a huge difference there. The great thing about digital is what goes in the first day is the same thing you see on the 10th week. Whereas film, what you see on the first day is not at all what you're going to see in the 10th week. In the 10th week, it's going to be scratched and jittery and torn up, and the quality is going to be disintegrated. But with digital, the quality stays consistent through the whole thing. You don't get jiggle in the gate and the image sort of shaking around. You don't get the scratches and all those other annoying things that probably concerns filmmakers more than anybody else. But I do think it has a profound influence on the audience's enjoyment of the movie.
Unlike George Lucas, Tarantino despises the use of digital and believes in the old school method of celluloid. What are your opinions on digital, Tarantino?
At least it does nothing for me. It does nothing for me. I mean, I actually think I'm getting gypped when I go to a movie and I realize it's either been shot on digital or being projected in digital. I think it's the death keel. I think it's the death rattle. And, you know, Yeah, I do. And I also have even another whole aspect about it. You know, I've always believed in the magic of movies. To me, the magic of movies is connected to 35 millimeter. Everyone thinks, you can't help but think, that when you're filming something on film, that you're recording movement. You're not recording movement. You are just taking a series of still pictures. When shown at 24 frames a second, through a light bulb, it creates the illusion of movement. So thus, as opposed to a recording device, when you're watching a movie, a film print, you are watching an illusion. And to me, that illusion is connected to the magic of movies.
How was your experience with digital, Mr. Lynch?
It was so fantastic for me and for the scenes that I could never go back to film. And I loved the quality. And I think what I loved about it was it's not film. And, you know, the advances in film, everything is very, very crisp. I mean, you can make it soft if you want, but it's got a, the film is so beautiful.
Right, my name's Alan Rowe. I'm a lecturer in film. I'm also a kind of writer about film as well. And I suppose my expertise is I've been watching films for a very, very long time indeed.
Okay, so you know a lot about film then. So which one would you prefer then? Digital or film?
To put it simply, if I had a choice, I would rather watch a celluloid film in a cinema than actually watching it digitally, as the technology stands at the moment.
Cool. So you've seen digital and celluloid films. Yes. Which do you believe has the better quality, in your opinion?
Celluloid.
Celluloid,
yes.
Why is that?
There is a better definition.
Can you state your name, please?
Matt Tatum.
And what is your occupation?
I'm a lecturer at Chelmsford College.
Okay, cool. But what, in your opinion, do you believe, what do you enjoy more out of the two?
I prefer watching films made on celluloid because I believe it gives you a warmth and a grit that you can't currently get from digital.
So what do you think is easier to edit, celluloid or digital?
Digital is far easier to edit. Involves less mess, less hassle. Downside of digital is potentially you might not have the best quality available to you, and that potentially, you know, software can crash and you can lose files.
I will now move on to interview some local students at Chelmsford College. And in your opinion, what do you prefer, digital or celluloid?
Digital.
Why is this?
Because I think it looks better than celluloid, and that's just like more sort of clearer, easier to work with.
Okay, cool. How many films on average do you watch a day?
Depends really, depends what I feel like. About normally one a day, but sometimes watch two if I want to.
Okay, so would you say on average you watch more digital or celluloid films?
Probably digital.
Do you like the way that technology is evolving, or would you rather it stay the same?
No, I like the way it's evolving because I think you need to sort of keep up with the times really, so...
So, are you a fan of the special effects then?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Could you give me an example of a film that uses special effects that you enjoy?
Avatar, Godzilla. I didn't like Godzilla. I didn't actually like the film. It was pretty shit, but special effects are pretty good in it, so...
Okay, thank you very much. Do you like the concept of 3D?
No, I don't.
Can you state your name, please?
My name's Callum Burgess.
And what is your occupation, Cal?
I'm a student.
Okay, cool.
But I'm studying film and television.
So you know you've got a bit of knowledge on film then?
Yeah, I'd say.
So, what do you prefer, your personal opinion, digital or celluloid?
That's a hard question.
Tough, isn't it?
Between digital and celluloid, I think I would prefer digital because it's the only thing I've ever used. So.
Well, as a viewer, so to watch, you prefer...
As a viewer, I think I prefer celluloid.
So, to make films, you prefer digital.
Digital.
And to watch them, you prefer celluloid?
I do indeed, yes.
So what do you like about celluloid to view?
I like the grainy picture.
Oh yeah?
I like the authenticity.
Oh, pen.
And I just think, you know, the best directors use it. And the digital, you lose a bit. It's not as expensive, so it gets a bit cheap. You know what I mean?
I mean. So, just one off the top of my head, I ask it to all my interviewees. What is your favourite film, in your opinion?
My favourite film, I'd probably say, would be Pulp Fiction.
Why is that? Do you like Tarantino? Is he a big influence on your life?
He's influenced my life to no end.
What's your opinion on special effects? Go.
I think special effects are very good, but I do think they go a bit over the top now. Take, for instance, Star Wars. Right. I think the old Star Wars have kind of better special effects than the new ones because it's so simple. Okay.
Can a film be too long in your eyes?
Yes, a film can be too long.
Oh, God, that's a good answer. That's very solid.
In my opinion, because you can have a film that's 15 hours long.
Exactly.
That's just too long.
The older generation believe that celluloid is better, and the younger generation believe that digital is better because of the special effects. But, so you can see there's a pattern there between the older generation and the younger generation. The older generation believe there is more of a narrative in the celluloid films dated back to the 1980s and 90s, whereas the younger generation believe that the special effects add to the experience of a movie, and maybe it's because they are used to this.